I'm sure everyone by now on the internet knows what To Catch a Predator is, but for those who are out of the loop, To Catch a Predator is a very hilarious show, one of my favorites for a long time. It was a news segment that ran in the mid 2000s that warned about the dangers of online predators, and what they would have a team, they would have a civilian team known as a Perverted Justice. Later on during the reboot, they were known as Tetrad Core. Now they would lure online predators into talking with underage girls and bait them into sending pictures and videos of themselves and engaging in sexually explicit chats with minors, girls that are between the ages of usually 11 to 15. NBC joined in with their host Chris Hansen. They teamed up with the police, and then they started doing sting operations on these guys. They would just be a girl online. These men would coax the girls into having a sexually explicit conversation. The girls, of course, were decoys. They were adults, perverted justice operatives who would pretend to be a 13-year-old girl, and then they would coax the predators into a sexual conversation, have them come over to a sting house that they had rigged with cameras, and they would have typically an 18 to 19-year-old theater student or actor posing as the decoy. They would lure them in, and then Chris Hansen would come out and say his signature, have a seat right there, read them the chat log, and destroy their lives right in front of them.
Actually admits it's likely he would have taken the virginity of a 13-year-old girl. He's 20-year-old Cody Green, screen name Perfect Buddy Georgia. He's been chatting online with a girl posing as a 13-year-old virgin named Maddie Girl 92. The decoy says, "Really? You don't mind I'm a virgin?" Perfect Buddy answers, "If you don't mind me taking it from you, I actually would love it and never have been with a virgin." Perfect Buddy then sends not one but 8 different pictures of his genitals.
Yeah, I made some tea and it's on the table.
Should have a seat right in that chair.
Sir, I really drove this far for no reason.
You drove this far for no reason?
Yes, sir. I swear.
Perfect Buddy says he was really just looking for a friend, nothing more. But then his story seems to change.
Please, I swear, sir, I'm a desperate person. I need a girl in my life, and if she really wanted to be my friend, that would be all I needed from her.
She said she was 13.
She did. I'm sorry, sir. I have interest in younger girls. That has just been a fantasy of mine.
A fantasy?
Yes, sir.
Do you know it violates Georgia law?
Yes, sir.
Did you say you are ready to have my thang in your mouth?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by that?
Are you ready to have my in your mouth? That's what it is, and that would be probably the cleanest, best pleasure, I would say.
The cleanest, best pleasure?
Yes, sir.
Is to have sex with a 13-year-old girl?
Yes, sir.
There is a huge community for people that love this show. They're known as the TCAP community, To Catch a Predator community, and they cover the NBC To Catch a Predator investigations in the mid-2000s, as well as the revamped Hansen versus Predator, which came in the mid-2010s, I think mid to late. I thought I had seen pretty much everything this show had to offer, except for just recently, like a week ago, found the Undertaker Predator. Never seen this guy, and boy, he is a riot and a lot to unpack. So I'm going to go with you through this, and we're going to have some jokes, some laughs, but overall educational. There's a part where I'll show you how real this really hits, but let's get into it.
Come on in.
So as you can see, we have our 20-year-old decoy luring the Undertaker in, fresh off of his WWE retirement. I'm pretty sure he hasn't been hitting the gym because he is really ballooned up. Spoiler alert, that's not really the Undertaker. He is definitely not a predator, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers. Please don't choke slam me. Fresh out of the Crossroads music video from Bone Thugs, he walks into the house dressed to the nines, cowboy hat, long duster and all. And boy, he is a beefy boy. 19-year-old Vincent, by the way. Ooh, goes in for the hug and instantly denied. And the decoy is clearly trained not to interact physically with these guys whatsoever. Most of these guys go in straight for the hug and immediately get denied. It's really hard to hear right here, but you can hear the microphone that she has under her chest is taped near her heart, and you can hear her heartbeat thumping. Someone in the comment section pointed this out to me. Her heart is racing, and it just reminds me of how real these situations are. She is in real terror right now.
Kind of like watch a movie or...
Yeah, movies?
Mm-hmm.
What movies you got?
I mean, we can just get something on Netflix.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where's the TV?
Ooh, with the big reveal, my boy is beefy. He's got the high chub and tuck. Oh my goodness. That and they say there are no good men in the world. This man is dressed to the nines. Pardon me for objectifying a potential child sexual predator, but this boy is dummy thick. Okay, he's mad beefy. Oh my goodness. I swear to God, if he bends over one more fucking time, I'm hopping through this video and nah, just kidding. So they're just engaging in menial small talk, and this is just to get them warmed up. And usually what they would try to do is get the predator to admit things that they said in the chat prior to meeting up at the house, just to make it more incriminating, because some people like to say it was just a role play chat.
We were in a role-playing chat room, dude.
And what role were you playing exactly, Gar?
People play roles, man. Anytime, never ask role-playing. People just talk. My God, dude. Hey, NBC, 2 words, role-playing chat room, dude.
But then if you admit to having sexual relations with the child face to face, then there's not much they can do at this point to refute the claims that they, you know, what was really on their mind.
Hey, Tex, how you doing?
How you doing?
Just like that, boom, the big man, Chris Hansen, enters the stage. Now we enter phase 2 of the operation, the interrogation, or the interview, I should say, Chris versus the Undertaker. And just like that, the hat goes on. It's now time to talk shop. He is ready to get down to business. This is where he gets to defend himself.
You know what? I have nothing to live for anyway.
Crack like a fucking egg immediately under pressure. Dude, just own up. Like, just own it, bro. Like, come on. Immediately. Like that. Crack like an egg. Didn't even get to the investigation. He just said, screw it, I'm done. And now we enter the sob story portion as to how all of these unfortunate circumstances in his life, such as him not finishing school, his medication, and his depression, led him to engage with a sexual chat with the minor and show up at her house with intentions to have sex, dressed like the guy from the Crossroads music video from Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like, come on, dude. No one is arguing that depression is tough, but have you ever been so depressed you just say, my life is over? Fuck it, bro. 12-year-olds. I'm gonna skip a lot of this because it's about 10 minutes of him crying and talking about his sad story and how he wanted to be a cop, but he's too fat to be a cop. Whatever. Who cares? Let's move on. Hat goes back on. Time to hit the old dusty trail, partner. And then what should have been a huge red flag to this guy is Chris directs him to leave out a door that he didn't enter. Here we get our last cute shot of the big boy and his front butt. Before this, have any of you ever seen a grown man in a cowboy hat and a duster cry? Just asking. Whoops-a-daisy, sir. Didn't know if you knew this, but now you're going to freaking jail, buddy. And now we're midway through the police interrogation, and they're just getting information of this guy. They could all choose to talk to a lawyer, and some of the people who have been in the investigation have gotten off scot-free. I don't know why they choose to talk. They're probably not that smart, because if you're the type of person to hop online, start chatting with a person that has identified themselves as an underage girl between 11 to 15 years old, and you're just like, wow, oh my goodness, this 12-year-old girl is home alone on a Wednesday and can have sex right now. Whoa, I'm going over. Then you pretty much deserve what's coming to you. Like, it's obviously a freaking trap. I'm not in any way vouching for these guys, but like, come on, like, how stupid you gotta be. Come on. And this cop brings up a good point, and I'm not going to elaborate too much on that point because it doesn't need to be said. Everything is self-explanatory about why all of this is bad, okay? So I don't have to go and preach as to why you shouldn't do this. It's pretty clear. And if this is unclear to you, well, you'll be talking to Chris Hansen pretty soon. Long story short, he received a sentence of 30 months in prison engaging in a sexual chat with a person who he believed to be 12 years old. Now, you might be asking, hey, he didn't actually talk to a 12-year-old. He was talking to probably a 40-year-old or something. Yeah, but he believed the person was 12, and a lot of these people are repeat offenders, and some of these people have had sexual relations with children that they have met online, so the state is just, it's best not to take any chances with these guys. And a lot of you are probably like, oh, fucking castrate him, murder him, fire him out of a rocket into the sun. And you know what? I don't necessarily agree with that. There are some of the guys, yeah, like Kevin Westerbeck, they should be killed immediately because they're just terrible people. If you don't know about Kevin Westerbeck, look him up. Guys like him, he is clearly a virgin and he just doesn't know any better. And I'm not excusing any of his actions. They're terrible, and he deserves everything he has coming to him. But a lot of times these guys just need a hard kick in the ass to set them straight. And then they'll serve their time. They'll be registered as a sex offender. They serve the time that the law says is appropriate, and then they move on with their lives. That's how I feel with it. Some of the guys, yeah, castrate them. Guys like him, he's just a fucking idiot. And this is only part 1. Part 2 is where I'm going to take you guys through his chat log. Boy, it is horrible. And he says some really stupid shit in that chat log, and just get ready for that. See you guys. Oh, one quick thing. A friend of mine brought up a really good point about this. So this guy's obviously a loser. Look at what he said about himself. He probably had no luck talking to women or anyone in general. And then the first woman that is interested in him and that wants to see him and comes over turns out to be lying the entire time. Turns out to not only be a cop, but everything is being filmed. It's going to be on TV, and he's going to jail. That's got to be the biggest blow to your self-confidence in history. The only person interested in you was a cop, and now you're going to jail. That's not funny. I'm sorry.